Yes guys, welcome back by the Millionaire Commerce channel. My name is Johnny. Today I'm here with Shiv. He was able to do well over 2 million during the program. So Shiv, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for inviting.
I used to study technical informatics. It's like computer science. Like I said, I was getting into ecom, that was starting to work out. So I thought to myself, hey, why do I keep going studying if I just can work and generate more money than I ever will? So yeah, after 3 years, I decided to just stop. A lot of people do not know how to use AI to optimize their store, optimize their business. I use it for everything.
You did millions in revenue in total during the program. How is life going right now?
To be honest, it started very bad. During that period, I was remembering I was running out of money. What I used to do is I used to ask people if they could lend me money and I would give it back to them tomorrow because, you know, Shop for Payments would pay it out the next day. Sometimes even just eat like noodles or something just so I can...
The grind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The grind.
Yeah. I think I had already touched the million by start of October. During that period, I had already touched the million, so it only took...
Crazy.
So, yeah, the first thing I did was actually buy my mom a plane ticket to Curaçao. She's never been, so that was the first thing that came to mind that I want to do as an expense.
What is your biggest tip to people that are watching now? What they can do better in their business if they face issues like this? So Shivam, welcome. Can you introduce yourself to the people that are watching?
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, my name is Shivan. I'm originally from Rotterdam. Grew up there as well. 21 years old. Started e-commerce in 2025 January, and since then I've been able, after joining Millionaire Commerce, I've been able to get e-commerce as a job instead of as a side hustle. I've been able to leave school, quit my job, and focus on my own business, and yeah, live like an e-commerce guy.
yeah, nice story. And what did you do before e-com? And because you said you had a job, of course, what was your job and what was your study?
Yeah, so I used to work at the casino for about 2.5 years. During this time, I was like a cards dealer. It was a pretty nice job, but when I was getting into e-com and that was starting to grow, I thought it would be better for me to invest more time into, you know, my business. Same thing goes for my study as well. I used to study technical informatics. It's like computer science. I don't know if you're aware of what it is.
No, computer science, I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, basically stuff like hardware, software, development.
Computer science, okay, yeah, like programmer.
Yeah,
okay, nice.
But yeah, like I said, I was getting into ecom, that was starting to work out, so I thought to myself, hey, why do I keep going studying if I just can work and generate more money than I ever will with a salary for the niche I was going to work in. So yeah, after 3 years, I decided to just stop and yeah, live life on my own terms.
Yeah, I understand, because yeah, of course, if you work for a boss but you don't want to work for a boss, then it's like difficult, right? I had the same, and I always had in my mind, okay, I want to do something for myself. So the only option I had was becoming an entrepreneur, you know. So but yeah, nice how that journey went for you, of course, because you said you were a programmer as well, so you could work very good with computers. So if you started your Shopify store, you could, yeah, you are already like some steps before someone else, right?
Yeah, especially with like liquid customs, custom liquids and coding. It's just easier for me to understand like how I can create a website, design it so people can easily convert. And I think those basic steps were already a very bigger plus than someone who comes in with zero knowledge about.
Yeah, crazy. And yeah, it turned out good, I guess, because if you started in school with programming, how did you apply that into your business?
For example, when developing the website or anything technical, you know, there's it goes from apps to updating scripts to updating your themes, for example. It's just easier because you know where to look, you know what to change, you know how to use AI better as well. Yeah. I think that's also a big game changer. A lot of people do not know how to use AI to optimize their store, optimize their business. I use it for everything.
Because AI is something new, of course, and yeah, it's not new, but a lot of people don't know what AI is. But yeah, you learned it already in school. Do you take like big advantages of it because you know already some things about AI, and how do you implement AI these days then in your business?
Well, I don't think there's really a big advantage. It's just you know what prompting is, right? Yeah. If you can prompt, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be knowledge you need to have ahead of starting a business. Like if you just learn how to prompt, you can get anything. For example, I have a friend, a partner, who wants to get into e-commerce as well. I just tell them, hey, look, just give AI the context, tell them how to, or ask it how to use it in your business, and that's all there is to it. So I suppose it's just context related. You just need to know what to say and what to ask so that they can help you get better at what you need to do. And also with workflows, you can easily just set things up so you don't have to do them manually anymore. I think that's also a big game changer. You do not have to do stuff manually anymore. For example, profit sheets. If you do it with a full workflow with an app, it takes, I think, maybe 30 minutes a day away from you. Just count how many hours there it is per year. But I think personally that those types of changes are the best to implement into your business. What I personally do is I have a few workflows set up as well. So I basically do not have to check my business unless I want to, or like the basic things, because I just outsource it basically to AI.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Nice, because now AI these days you can implement into your business. You can automate so much things that it's just perfect, because we as e-commerce entrepreneurs, we have like a lot of things that take maybe a lot of time, but now these days we can outsource everything with AI, especially with creatives, etc.
Yeah.
So that's just perfect for us, right? Because you're only 21 years old right now, and you did millions in revenue in total during the program. How is life going right now, and how did life turn out for you?
To be honest, it started very bad. When I was, like I said, I was doing the casino work. I had school, so I was busy almost 6 days per week. Even on my rest days, I was still, busy always. So trying to get fit e-commerce into that was actually quite difficult. I did manage to do it because I was just going to skip school.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, I used to go like 5 days per week to school, but then I used to go 1 day per week. So I can just stay at home, especially because it's a technical study. I did not have to be at school. So for me, it was very easy to, just spend the time at home. In the meantime, focus on my e-commerce. In the meantime, also do schoolwork, whatever. But basically during that period was time management. That was very difficult. And also I started to get my ad spend started to increase as well, quite high. And during that period, I was remembering I was running out of money. So what I used to do is I used to ask people if they could lend me money, and I would give it back to them tomorrow because, Shopify Payments would pay it out the next day.
Yeah.
Or for example, especially during the weekends, that was quite tough.
Yeah, exactly. And also with your ad account top-ups.
Yeah. I use credit cards.
Okay, you have your own ad account.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so that was very difficult to manage as well. But eventually, I started to get more and more revenue. I think during May, I did like 40K revenue. That was like the first month I really started, because I started on the 26th of April.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, it just started to grow. I started to implement different marketing tactics, started using different strategies, optimizing the store more, SEO, all of that. And eventually, in June and July, after June and July, I was at like 150K total. And then from there on, it just started to pop. August, September, I started having record days, record months. I just started doubling, scaling. I was like getting money in. I was thinking, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever, just going to double the budget. And eventually I was able to pay for it. So my cash flow was starting to be healthy. I was able to invest more into the business. I was even not spending money a lot at that time, because I wanted to reinvest it back into the business. Like I would put money aside just for ad spend. Sometimes even just eat like noodles or something, just so I can, you know,
grind, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
grind.
Yeah, because like I thought like I don't want to spend money on something else if I can reinvest it into something proper.
Yeah.
And eventually, in October, I had my record month. Like I said, I was doubling, scaling, and it started to, you know, convert really well. And eventually in October, I had like a 800K month.
What was your highest day back then, and what was your record month?
The highest day was on the 18th of October, which was a 50K day.
50K day.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, it's when I think back of it, it's just insane. But
It's crazy, right? Because with e-com, it can go so fast, you know, it are just numbers, right? So if you have like a very good concept, a very good product, you can scale it so hard, especially if you are in markets, in bigger markets. That's what I also advise to a lot of people, to go into the big markets, because there, the profit is made there, you know? So, because what was your market back then?
I was worldwide.
Yeah, but that's good, right? That's you have like so many people you can reach.
Of course, the biggest markets were America, Canada.
Big four.
Yeah.
That's what we see most of the times, right? If you have a store in the big four and it start to pop off, you can do some crazy revenue.
Yeah, for sure.
How long did it take to get your first winner, and what was your first winner?
I actually started. I started pretty unconventional. I did not start with. I started with collections. So just testing collections, see which had the highest CTR, which had the highest conversion rates, and eventually from there on, I realized that lingeries were actually some of the best products that were working for my store. So I decided, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna build an entire store around lingerie. So that's what I did. And eventually it actually started to pop up really nice. So yeah, it wasn't shoes or dresses or something like that. It was actually lingeries that started to generate some like real revenue. And from there on I thought, hey, I do not want to build a drop shipping scam store. I want to build an actual brand. That's what that's of course what the goal in mind was when I was scaling. You know, focus on the entire picture instead of just, a cash grab. And I think that was one of the biggest changes for me that also made it that I was able to differentiate myself from other people, because I was just able to, think in the bigger picture, I think maybe.
That's good that you have that, because look, if you start with general dropshipping, the key of everything is try to test as much as you can, because if something works for someone else, it will not say that it will work for you. That's just how it is. And some people having issues with that. That's why they panic, or it's not working, or it's not for me. But if you just test really broad everything you see on the ad library you have with your supplier, then it's just worth to test it if it have good data by the competitor. Because like what you have, one thing need to hit and you can build your whole entire store around that product. And then you can focus on one product, test multiple angles, test multiple creatives like you did. And now you see you achieved like a 50K day. That's absurd, right?
Yeah, it was, I think like in my friend group, I was like one of the only ones who was able to do that still. But yeah, even like when I still think about it, it just felt like it was a train, just kept on moving. Like I did not have to put engine in the oil or something like that. It was just something that just kept on going, like a snowball effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it was also very thoughtful, and also I was able to learn a lot from it, because after the month actually I started to get holds.
Holds, yeah. That's what you always will face, I guess, if you do e-com. You need to handle it, because that also makes you stronger, 100%. I also had holds, people around me, everybody had it, but you learn a lot from it. How did you handle that How did you handle the situation that you got a hold?
Yeah, actually, because it was my first time, I was like shocked, because I was doing record days and then all of a sudden I got hit with a hold. So all my money was stuck, pretty much all of it. And also I could not process payments anymore as well. Shopify payments got busted. So during the period, I was like, hey, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I fail now? Am I done? How can I fix this? So I thought, okay, we'll look into it. What other processors can we use? So we tried Molly, we tried Stripe, separate other companies. Nothing worked. Like I just kept on getting holds and holds and holds. So after 3 or 4 holds, I eventually found a processor which was like a private processor, and they were more happy to accept like a high risk type of niche. And from there on, I was able to set it up. So now all my stores are running that as well, because I do not trust the Shopify mafia.
Exactly. It does. It's just a really big risk these days if you don't have a real brand to run a Shopify. You can do it eventually, especially if you make your first 100K or 200K, 300K, it's possible. But always have in mind, you always need to look for backups. And I think this with MC, we have all these backups. So it's a big advantage, of course, that I mean, it's a big benefit that you took coaching as well, right? And that you have people around you that can help you with fix those payment processors, and you can also continue really going, right?
Yeah, one thing I really appreciated about the community as well was that if you had a question, you could just throw it into the group chat, and that's actually how I found a lot of other students.
Yes,
other students who were able to pinpoint me into finding like backups, helping me think through what I would need to do as well, because some of them may have been in the same situation as I have, most likely have been. And I think those communications were actually a big help. Also other people that did $1 million plus.
Indeed.
One of them also has been on the interview as well. So it was good for me to be able to have that connection with others.
Exactly, that's what we hear and see a lot. Because there are so many guys and girls in millionaire commerce and that had success and running now a very successful business, etc. So the connections are there, you know. It's just a very good step that you take, like a program where everything and everybody is doing revenue. And if something happened like that, you immediately have the connections to fix everything. So you are in a really fast go mode, you know, if something happens. So you handle it also very good. And now these days you're just running still on the same store, or?
I have 3 stores at the moment.
Okay. And all niche stores, or do you also still do general dropshipping fashion?
I do general dropshipping fashion. I also have a few niche stores. The one that I talked about before, just that. General fashion and a niche store. And I also have a brand coming up as well, which I'm planning to, focus more on, because I think that is better for my mental well-being.
Understand if you do general dropshipping for a long period of time, you really want to build a brand, right? Because it gives you also more rest, more calm, and you can just focus on one thing. That's really important. But how did it felt like that 50K day? What feeling came into your body?
Yeah, it's actually really annoying because my store time is on a different time than like the actual revenue stops. So during that time I was asleep. So I was not able to actually hit 50K live. That was so annoying. But I woke up.
I want to go to sleep, I think, that day.
I was too tired, man. I had no choice. But I was not expecting it to hit 50K as well, because I was doing 40K days at the time, like in a row as well. So I just hit the 50K and I was like, oh my God. I woke up, grabbed my phone. First thing I always do is open Shopify Analytics and check yesterday. And then I saw 50. I was like, what the hell?
It's life-changing, right? Especially at your age. It's crazy. When I had your age, I was doing other kind of things, you know. But it's really nice to see that you take action at such a young age, because back then you were 20 years old when you started with e-com, and now 1 year later you are 21 and you already did millions in revenue, and now living the life you always dreamed of, I guess.
I like to have my freedom, if you get what I mean. I do not want other people to tell me what I can and can't do. So for example, that's why I also quit the job as well. I don't like having people above me telling me what I need to do, because I know what's best for me. And having e-commerce as a job just allows me more freedom. I can go to Germany and I can work there. I can go to Japan, I can work there. And to me, that's like the thing that I exactly need, not have to be stuck. That's
It's important. It's important, right? Freedom. It's just like when I started as well with e-commerce, the whole main goal of everything is freedom. That's just it, and the rest is learnings, getting better, trying to do things differently and become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the most important thing. And how are you, how did you grow mindset wise and physically wise when you joined the program?
Yeah, actually, when I joined the program, I think there was this challenge, the 75, this is the physical part. I joined the 75 hard challenge and I actually stuck to it. And I think that was also something that helped me grow mentally, because I started reading books next to doing e-commerce work and my study. So I was able to, work disciplined during the coaching. And I think that was also like sort of like a game plan. It was like a way for me to easily maneuver and be responsible for myself, and be accountable as well. I think the accountability was also a very big thing, because in 75 hard, if you miss one day, you have to start over again. So you have to be 75 days long, have to focus on getting what you need to be, getting done what you have done. And that was something that helped me gain mentally and also physically. So yeah, I was able to implement that into my daily operations as well, and eventually I was able to make like a sort of like a lifestyle out of it.
Nice, man. Because you said you started reading books. I think a lot of people underestimate that, reading books, because it really helps you, especially mindset books, daily habit books, how to implement certain things in your business. So yeah, it's only a benefit, right? When you start reading, you just can implement everything in your business.
When I first started reading, I started reading No Excuses. I think that was like a big game changer for me, because if I did not want to do something, for example, if I did not want to go to my computer for a day, I just say to myself, no excuses, and go. There's no if I don't do it, no one's going to do it. So it was also like, even on days I did not have good revenue, I was just going to do it anyways, because I would still be proud of that I did something.
Exactly, because if I now speak with you, I see you are like a very motivational guy that really wanted to become an entrepreneur. But where does that all come from? How was your youth? How did you feel in your youth? Because now you really want to make it out of life. Maybe there's something that you just got a drive from it, that you really want to make it in life.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm not sure if you know Rotterdam South, but I grew up there. Wasn't really a good neighborhood, but it's the same story everyone has heard 1,000 times. But yeah, it was just a motivation for me to not give that life to my children, my family, in the future. I think in the future as well, I want to make sure that everything I do is going to be worthwhile. Also, during my youth, I just wanted to make sure that my parents are also proud of me, that I do something properly. During school, I was always a tough child, so I was always getting into trouble as well. And eventually, I think when I was 15, I started to quiet down, think more before I do stuff, and really reflect on what I was doing as well. I think that was also very big. I started to reflect on how I was living life, how I was behaving to other people, and taking care of myself. And during that period, that sort of built my future vision. I did not like to go to clubs anymore. I did not like to go drink anymore. I stopped all that stuff just so I can, say that I'm doing something better each day. And that goes back into the business as well, doing something better each day. That's also a very big thing in the game.
Yeah, that's it's crazy, right? How things can turn out if you just focus on one thing and you really want to make it out of something. So yeah, congratulations, bro. You are on a very good way to achieve everything, of course. And yeah, now you start implementing everything in your business. Everything is going well. What are the plans for this year with your business? What do you want to achieve?
Minimum 5 million revenue.
For this year?
No, lifetime.
Yeah, because how many revenue you did already until now?
About 2 million gross.
Is it?
Yeah. So started in end of April, start of May. So until now, 2 mil. And I think I had already touched 1 million by halfway October and start of October. During that period, I had already touched 1 million. So it only took 4 months to get everything set up.
4 or 5 months, 1 million revenue. With what kind of profit?
It was around 26%. Yeah.
Just 5 months, that's life changing, bro. People don't earn this in like a few years, you know. It's
I was actually in school. I was talking to another student, and I was telling him, hey, look, if you get 1,000 revenue a day, that's 30K a month. If you just have a 10% profit margin, that's still 3,000 euros just per month. That's pretty much what most of
you already earn more than most people that doing on their 9 to 5.
I didn't earn that much when I was 18, 19. I didn't earn that much. So it was very sick for me to see that you can just, because in my eyes now, 1,000 euros revenue is still nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You live to it, right? Because you already did 50K, over 2 million in revenue. So you really live to it, but that's good because it will drive you only more to get to those numbers.
And it still does, because I know that 2 million is still like not a lot in the e-commerce game. For example, if you look at Icon doing 1 million in a day, it's just insane. Yeah. So, there's levels to it, of course. And I need to be able to scale as well, mentally, physically, and in entrepreneurship. And those are my arrows for the next year.
Because with how many stores do you want to do this?
I plan to have 4 stores live this entire year.
Niche stores or also general stores?
2 niche stores, 2 general stores. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great plan. You just need to follow the plan and execute it well. And you will 100% achieve it. Because of course, we're talking about all those numbers, all the ups you had. What was your deepest down during that period when you started e-com until now?
Oh, that's a difficult question. It could be during the first month and a half, 2 of the coaching, because my cash flow was actually pretty low. So I was not able to actually do a lot. And I had to really scrape money together to make sure that I was able to scale. And there's a lot of pressure on you because you do not want to become a bad example for your coach as well. You want they have accountability for you, but you also need to have accountability for them. So that was a pretty stressful period. And also after the holds, the money was stuck. I did not have any revenue coming in, and the refunds kept on happening. So it was pretty difficult to actually process that as well. But eventually, like I said, I was able to find a better processor. So we were able to actually generate revenue nevertheless. And I think that was something, like in my eyes, at the end of the day, everything will be fine. But in the moment, that was tough. That was really tough, yeah.
Yeah, I know. We all had it. Like if I talk with every e-com entrepreneur, everybody at Woltz, everybody went through the same shit. But a lot of people would quit if this happened to them, especially if you don't have the right guidance or you don't know what to do at that time. So what is your biggest tip to people that are watching now? What they can do better in their business if they face issues like this?
Use AI.
Use AI.
Yeah, use AI. Just ask questions. Maybe they can help you brainstorm something through. If they can help you find an answer you might even know already. And just keep trying. don't stop, just keep trying. If you stop, you will never win. So
That's what you always see by everybody. If you started something, you really need to finish it. If you don't finish it, it's like, yeah, you will never get success out of it. That's and you will regret it so hard, because if you have such big goals and such a big vision about yourself, you really need to do things that are really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have like really the right mindset, especially at your age, 21. That's just crazy, right? Because how are the people reacting around you?
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. The first time I was in Dubai, I met up with a friend of mine, and he basically already knew people there, so we went to go see them. And of course, they were all around the age group of 28, 32. So in my eyes, I'm a baby to them. But in my eyes, or in their eyes, I'm a baby to them. But in my eyes, I'm just a worker. I'm just an entrepreneur.
Grinder.
Yeah, exactly. So like that should not make any difference. But a lot of people actually estimate that I'm older as well. But yeah, I like to stay humble with that as well. You know, it's something, some people have, some people don't. But yeah, I think that's also, I think that's more of like a personality thing as well.
That's your strongest point, I guess. Like having like a good mindset and just see yourself as a big guy with a big vision.
Yeah. Of course, it's like, sure, you can say it's like borderline delusional, but you have to be if you want to make it somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's also how you need to look to yourself, right? You cannot be surrounded at one point. You cannot be surrounded all the time with people that are not on the same level as you, because it will drag you down. You need to continuously improving yourself, making connections, connect with the right people, go to places where you never been, because there you learn the most, right? Especially if I look to myself, if I went to Marbella or Dubai, I make so much new connections, and also people see you there. So people ask you also questions, hey, what are you doing? So then you also make connections and get into the right friend group, because my friends now these days where I hang out with, I have it all because Millionaire Commerce. I have it all because I joined Millionaire Commerce back then. And now we're just having a very good and nice friend group, and everybody has the same vision. If something is going on, you can call each other, you can talk with each other. And it's very, very important to be surrounded with people like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you joined the program, you joined Millionaire Commerce, of course, a few months or a year ago. Do you have like a lot of friends made out of it? And do you hang around with people that are also joined Millionaire Commerce back then?
Yeah, I do. It's also not necessarily because of MC, but also because I knew them from other spaces. At least I saw them, but because they were in MC as well, I was able to make the link. Like, hey, these guys, they paid for something, so they're really willing to make the best out of it as well. I think that's also what differentiates someone from like a simple Discord community to another group like MC. If you're willing to go the extra mile, that already shows something in your personality as well. And I think that's also what I look for as well in other people, you know.
Yeah, you resonate with some people, right?
Yeah. Especially because, we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think that's also something that really changes it up for connections.
Do you have plans to travel the world, or how do you look to these kind of things?
This year, I'm still planning to go to Japan and Bali. I've already been to Dubai and also Germany. So yeah, those places are pretty much the only two left that I have to go. I'm also planning on going South America, but I still have to plan that out because I do want to get like a whole trip.
Yeah. Where do you want to go to South America?
In Brazil, Colombia, maybe Argentina.
Yeah, it's really beautiful there, I guess, if you can make a trip to there. And it's also nice because now you can do it because you have your online business, right? And you just need to make sure you have a good team structured, you having like a good structure for yourself. And yeah, just that the money is still coming in right while you are there, right? Because how is your day looking like right now? And how is your daily routine structured?
When I wake up, I check my phone if there's any notifications, because I have my phone always on Do Not Disturb, and I have a few which are not. D&D Queen. So I have it set up so I can see certain notifications always. And if any of those are there, then I know I need to respond to them. For example, if the supplier sends an invoice, then I need to be able to immediately pay for it as well. So that's those types of messages I immediately respond to as soon as I wake up. And then I just go behind the desk, make sure to check in with my team, check how they're doing, if they have any questions, if there's any communications with the supplier as well, because I basically have it set up so that they run my supply chain, they run my customer service as well. So they take the entire customer picture, make sure that that's optimized. I have layers in it as well. So my supervisor is also...
So you have a really big team.
I used to, but I felt like it's also very difficult to put trust in a good team. Especially because at a certain point people were not working properly, and it's difficult as an entrepreneur to say, yeah, you need to go or you need to stay. But that's also something you need to be hard in. Eventually I started getting a supervisor, and she just pointed out, hey, this and that. And based on that information, I was able to make choices like, hey, sorry, but we have to let you go, for example. So now I only have 4 people in my team. But the goal was basically to make sure that we do not have unnecessary members in the team anymore, because that was my first mistake.
It's too big team, because if you have just a very good structure in your business and you have like really good A players that work around the clock, you can kill it with them as well. You don't need to have like a very big team. You just need to make the right decisions in your team and have the right people on the right place. I think this is the most important thing you need to have in your business.
Yeah, when I was when I was in October, I think I had like 8 CS team members.
Yeah.
But still, in my eyes, that felt like, this was before the 50k day period, by the way. This was like start of October, but I already felt like I had too many employees, because I didn't have a good structure as well for my pay system. So it was just easily, like, they can easily fake it, and they will. So yeah, I had to really restructure the entire back end. And eventually I was able to find like good A players who I can really trust. And starting out from there again with actually vetting the people that you bring into your team.
Crazy. Yeah, now you're just like 21 years old, successful business, just pushing more stores, traveling around the world. It's like life-changing, right? How do your parents look to you now these days? Your parents must be proud of you.
Yeah, they are, of course. I remember the first thing I purchased, like, some people buy like a car or something, or buy a house. No, not a house, but you get what I mean.
You buy materialism. Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I did was actually buy my mom a plane ticket to Curacao, because she wanted to go to Curacao. She's never been, so that was the first thing that came to mind that I wanted to do as an expense. And I made it happen, and I was very proud of that as well.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's like a big milestone, right?
Yeah, because I get joy out of making the people around me happy. Yeah. So that was something very important to me as well. And so
they must be proud of what you are doing and how you are in life, right? Because in school you had like a lot of trouble, and now you are like a really good entrepreneur and making it in life, and doing the things you like to do. That's the most beautiful thing about e-com, because that's freedom, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Crazy, bro. Very inspirational story. If you can give one tip to the people that are watching, what should it be?
Have faith in yourself. No matter what happens, just have faith and keep trying. Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Very good interview, very inspirational story, and I'm 100% sure you will crush it in 2026.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it,
bro. Good. So yes, guys, we just wrapped up a crazy interview with Shivan. very good student, did amazing revenue in the program and still the day of today as well. So if you want to get coached by Millionaire Commerce, send me a DM on Instagram and we will reach out to you, and I see you by the next one. Ciao, ciao.